Dog, use promo code alarm. They'll match you up to $100.
I have a cup for Cooper Cup, I guess.
Make sure when you're at the Cheesecake Factory, instead of paying a tip, just write alarm in there.
I'm like MacGyver with running back routine.
Yeah, that's pretty true. That's true, and yeah, that's true.
Okay, I'm getting word. You might get Joe Burrow in here. And Joe!
No, I'm not drafting anyone at all.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
I've got information, man.
Lightning House, let's ride. It's week 8. I'm Kevin Tompkins, Britt Flinn, Andrew Cooper, and the tight end whisperer himself, Mr. Howard Bender. Howard, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing real well. Thanks for having me back. Twice in one season, my head was spinning, and then I was like, "Oh well, that's right. Coop's not going to be around, so they're desperate for somebody."
Oh, I'm here, baby. We had to move some people around. You know what I mean? We had to tell people. We had, Matthew McConaughey wanted to come on. We said, "Hey, hold on, gotta let Howard in. He's the boss." So we had to put some people on the back burner for you, Howard. So.
And he said, all right.
All right.
I won't even do it. I won't even bow down to that kind of level and give you the I just won't do it. So.
The fans are in already. Look at that, piling in. And to anybody any of our normal viewers, our boss is here, so behave yourself, okay?
Oh, yeah, we are not trying to get. Well, I mean, it's probably going to end up happening, but I'm trying not to get fired within the first 5 minutes.
Well, Sellers, for the record, Sellers goes, "Oh, Bender's going to be there? Oh man, I'm definitely tuning in for that one." And I'm like, "What do you mean, definitely? Like you don't every single time? Like, right? Come on, dude." And now I'm like, "What kind of shenanigans is Sellers going to throw out here for this show?" So it should be pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, squad, baby.
Should we just clear the air right now? Should we just settle the whole Alan Lazard thing? Because I feel like I think everybody was kind of, Kevin's gone. I think people were like pitting us against each other because they know we work together, and that was fine. That was great. You made your side of the argument. I made my side of the argument. I find it incredibly funny that when you finally, it took you 7 weeks to understand what the vision was for Green Bay, and then you come around and what happens? Then you jinx Lazard, his shoulder hurt, and now you're like, Bender, I told you he wasn't going to get 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns because he's not even going to be on the field anymore. So I got it, but I nothing but love for you, Kev. Nothing but love.
You know what? It was really just a 6-month bit that went way too long. I'll just say this.
You figured me out. You got me red-handed.
Listen, did you really genuinely think that I believe that Alan Lazard was going to get double-digit targets in his first game back from his ankle issue? Like, I dyed my stupid hair green for the guy, for crying out loud. It's like, right there you go. I think the quote that I gave today, and because this is actually kind of funny and a little bit apropos for it, but the quote that I used today for food for thought on Fantasy Alarm was, "The universe is full of magical things patiently waiting for our wits to grow sharper." Like, if you didn't think there was a little bit of a bit there with the Alan Lazard stuff and dyeing my hair green and you and me back, come on.
Of course,
I know, right? I mean, come on, it's high comedy. You gotta be in on the gag.
Marketing genius.
But Alan Lazard, dude, kind of doing his best Adam Thielen impression so far. No, when you look at the stats, there, touchdowns all over the place, targets steady. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's not too. You know what? I'd say he's probably a more target earning Gabe Davis. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
I will fully admit that.
It's a good player.
Nobody rip that. Nobody clip that. I do have a brand to uphold.
Nobody send that to
as
fantasy receipts.
Yeah, please don't do that.
He was watching last time, which that scares me a little bit.
Gabe Davis, he's a boomer bust guy, right? Come on, we don't need him.
Yeah, Lazard is the boomer, and never
easy
mind.
now.
I will say this. Mike Williams' high ankle sprain combined with Alan Lazard's start to the early season could put them actually a little bit closer. And John and Pemba popped that over on Twitter. They could be a little closer. So actually that hot take that I made real early on in the season might actually play into my favor. Of course, everybody be like, oh, well, he got hurt, so who cares?
Correct.
Either way.
We're never allowed to have anything, Howard. You know that.
I am not allowed nice things.
Dude, we had such a nice thing going, didn't we, with David and Joku? And there's another nice thing that was taken away from us, right? You were all over that one. I was in there with you, and good God, man.
There is no God. What are you talking about?
Alexa, play "This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things" by Taylor Swift.
I know, right? The foxhole is empty
Unbelievable.
right now. All these grown ass, you can't have a grown ass man on your team anymore.
There he is, dude. Sellers throwing us right under the bus. It's crazy. Sellers, I've never seen anybody make friends with the highest of big wigs the way he did at the Expo. I thought he was going to be our boss coming into the season after hanging out with you, Al, the whole gang, dude. Sellers he's a man of the people. He truly is.
Absolutely.
100%.
I mean, compared to Howard, I mean, between me, Britt, and Coop,
Expired.
I mean, it just is what it is. But I mean, however you want to talk about Lazard, let's talk about the most valuable players in the we're pretty much through halfway of the fantasy season right now. So let's talk about who are the MVPs of fantasy football so far as we head into week 8. Howard, I'll let you field this one first.
Well, it's Alan Lazard, of course.
Duh, you had it on the show sheet.
I had it all over the show sheet for you. As soon as I got the show sheet, I was like, oh, here we go. Beep, 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 beep. But you know what? I could actually go with a different player of that same ilk. If you want to talk about my most valuable player in fantasy football right now has got to be Nick Chubb. Yeah. Nick Chubb, who fell out of favor with everybody but me. And, and I was able to grab him like mid to late second round in a number of drafts, and like what he's top 3 in rushing attempts, yards per game. He's up top in yards per carry. If you want to set a minimum of a number of 85 yards, 85 rushing attempts. So I mean, he's tops everywhere. He's getting the work. I actually did battle with somebody, a little bit of a debate on Twitter, because they sent this misleading tweet that Kareem Hunt with his touches in the red zone. And, it was just like, go after Kareem Hunt, kind of just insinuating that Kareem Hunt is the more explosive back or the better back in Cleveland. And I was just like, Kareem Hunt can have all the touches between the 15 and the 20 he wants. Those definitely classify as, red zone touches. But Nick Chubb, he's getting the. Come on. Like, even you, Kevin, a guy who hates running backs as vehemently as you hate running backs, you cannot argue with the fact that watching Nick Chubb run, all angry and is not one of the best things to watch in a football game.
Yeah, like Nick Chubb is objectively like one of the best running backs in the NFL. Like, from a physical standpoint, just on the field, like, he is one of the best rushers. For fantasy, I mean, the one knock on him has been the lack of production in the receiving game, or at least the lack of opportunity to be able to show what he can do in the receiving game. The top 2 backs right now in PPR formats are Eckler and Barkley, because they have, some of that. Number 3 is Nick Chubb.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, Nick Chubb can be efficient enough in that Browns offense. The way he runs, what he gets, with that red zone work, with his production on the ground, that he can keep up with those guys. I mean, he's just on the cusp of 20 fantasy points per game so far in those 7 games. So, Nick Chubb has staying power. He can easily be a top 5, at minimum running back this year. So yeah, he's definitely a good choice.
Yeah, and that's why I appreciate Howard so much, is that, Howard, you're a football realist. You know what I mean? You're a fantasy guy, But like, so like me, for instance, I get real deep in the spreadsheets doing all sorts of weird stuff. And I always have to check back in with you to tell me things like TJ Hawkinson sucks, which at times he does. Right. And then like when you tell me Nick Chubb is good, right. And I'm like, yes, I know he's good. There are numbers backing up, but I'm such a spreadsheet guy. Like it brings me back to the fact of the matter here, which is that all the spreadsheets in the world, it doesn't matter because when Sunday comes around, there's two things that matter. First downs and touchdowns, right? And when the time comes, I mean, if you look at the numbers, leading the league in first downs, Josh Jacobs, 36. Second, Nick Chubb with 34. Nobody else has 30. Like when push comes to shove and it's time to get the first down, like when you watch your favorite team, you're upset when they punt and you're pumped about first downs. Nick Chubb is the dude that's making it happen. So, I mean, forget the spreadsheets with this guy, dude. He's awesome.
Well, and if you want to go even a little bit further than that and talk about how he's going to actually win you your league, going down the stretch, like once Deshaun Watson comes back, their opponents are bottom 5 in containing the running back down the stretch. When we're actually in the fantasy playoffs, when it actually matters, I mean, Chubb is going to absolutely eat. Not only are they going to have to respect the run, as they've already been forced to do, but now they're going to have to be forced to respect the pass down the stretch. Like Nick Chubb is just that guy, and I love watching him play. He's an absolute joy.
Let's go.
Yes, he's absolutely. Awesome. Britt, Coop, what about you guys? Whoever wants to go next, your MVP so far.
Ladies first, Britt, you got it.
Thanks. So I'm going to go Josh Jacobs. I think, I will be fully transparent when we wrote those. Toronto Dave, I got you, man. Whenever we wrote those player debates over at Fantasy Alarm, I fully bought into the narrative that Josh McDaniels was going to use a rotating backfield. I bought into the narrative that since Josh Jacobs started the Hall of Fame game, that he was lower down on the totem pole. I bought into the narrative that since they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, that they weren't going to use him. And everything that I thought has been proven completely wrong. I mean, Josh Jacobs has absolutely been explosive. He's already running back 4 overall, and he had a bye last week. When you look at actual fantasy points per game, he's second. I mean, this guy is just a juggernaut on this Raiders offense. They couldn't really get anything going with the passing game, which is so shocking considering that they brought in Devontae Adams, that they can't do that. But Jacobs is out to prove something. He is out to prove that he is worthy of a contract, that he is still a great running back, that he still has gas in the tank. And where you got him in drafts, I mean, what, the 6th or 7th, sometimes even 8th round, the absolute steal of the fantasy season. So that's why he's my MVP. It's a little bit more invested in draft capital, and the production's just icing on the top. So Coop,
we're all speechless.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it right now. I was wrong on this 100%. Like I came in, I got too lost in the sauce of, I'm a Patriots fan too. So like I got lost in the Josh McDaniels, Erhardt Perkins offense, Brandon Bolden, split backfield for 20 years, blah, blah, blah. No, they're not doing that at all. They're doing the opposite of that. They're using him like Najee Harris last year. Like Najee Harris this year isn't even being used like that. He's the guy every, don't go right. He's a guy every single down. So, I mean, I moved him up starting week 3, apologized profusely for making an assumption that they wouldn't do that, because they are. And like, you had to get on it as early as possible. We tried to tell everybody, do your best, but I mean, like, it's too late now, right? Cat's out of the bag on this guy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't want to brag, but I was touting him all preseason because they didn't give him they didn't pick up the 5th year on his contract, and he's talented and he doesn't have a huge amount of mileage on him. And it was Josh McDaniels. I was reading an article about going back to traditional Erhardt Perkins, which is predicated on the power run, and knowing that they had Jacobs to be able to do that. And I know that they brought over Brandon Bolden, and I definitely did get a little nervous. I was like, oh great, McDaniels is going to find a way to screw us on this, but they really have been just running it hard with Jacobs. I mean, watching him, that breakout game against Denver a couple of weeks ago was just absolutely phenomenal. And then this past week has been outstanding too. So I love it, man. I think that, he's getting the touchdowns, he's getting the carries. Dude's going to get paid. That's what it's that chip on the shoulder. He's gonna get paid because there are plenty of teams that are looking for a full-time back, and the dude has shown that he can catch passes too. So I love it. I think it's a great call.
And if they want to go full DeMarco Murray mode and run him into the ground in the last year of his contract, fantasy football likes that. I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Big fan of that. Let's do it.
Coop took all my talking points. DeMarco Murray, Erhard Perkins.
Gotcha. Oh, Erhard Perkins is mine though. This is New England out here, dog. That's
sorry, the Hufflepuff Gryffindor system.
That Hufflepuff Gryffindor system.
I mean, Josh Jacobs was a guy I was not drafting. Like all the signs were negative, but the fact that they're going to DeMarco Murray him into the ground. The thing with next year is, now we're seeing all these running back contracts just looking like albatrosses, like the Ezekiel Elliott contract. I mean, doesn't look great from a team perspective. I mean, separate that from how he's doing on the field. I mean, it's all about finding somebody we're willing to pay. What if Josh Jacobs is going to be like a top 3 running back in fantasy? Obviously, that's going to bode well in real life NFL too. So it's finding the team or the GM that's willing to pay Josh Jacobs. He's either going to be a guy that gets signed on day 1 or a guy that gets signed in like the end of May or something like that, just because he's going to command way more than teams want to spend. Like it's just going to be I feel like it's a weird dichotomy there, but there's no doubt, Josh Jacobs has been the steal relative to draft position in fantasy this year. Coop, what about you?
I'll go ahead and say it, man. This is a guy that I don't draft myself, because I contractually obligated to. I'm contractually obligated to do my best to find late round tight ends. So I spend a lot of time doing that. You know what I mean? But Travis Kelce, my goodness, throw positional scarcity out the window, because this guy right now is, if you take all the wide receivers and all the tight ends and put them in one bucket, in half PPR, this guy is number 3, and in full PPR is number 4. Like, you draft him for the positional scarcity, but he's just straight up scoring all the points. Like, he has the 3rd most points behind only Stephon Diggs and Cooper Kupp, more than Jamar Chase, more than Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams. And he is a tight end at a position that's brutal this year. Travis Kelce, to me, like, if you made that call for yourself, congratulations, man, because you got the positional scarcity, and now you can figure the rest out. Hang on to that guy, make it through this bye week, and you are cruising, baby. So good for you.
Yeah, I was a little nervous after everybody's reaction in the Kings Classic, because it was my first auction draft that I've ever done, and I was like, I'll be damned if I do not get Travis Kelce. That is my guy. I'm doing
too.
I'm doing it. Yeah, me and Kev, we're on the right track. And I mean, I felt like I might have overbid for him slightly, but Travis Kelce has single-handedly saved my bacon in this specific league. And I'm so glad that I have him, so I couldn't agree with you more.
I play in the Greenwich Street Tavern League. It's a higher stakes league that Adam Ronas brought me into. And I have the Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce stack. And
nice.
that's like
when
you're like a little kid and you and you came in from like a hard day sledding in the winter, and then you sat down in front of the fire and your mom wrapped a little blanket around you, gave you a hot mug of cocoa, and you're just sitting there just getting all warm. That's what it's like being a Travis Kelce owner. Like, it feels that good.
The warm and fuzzies, right, dude? I thought you said it was. I thought you were gonna say it was like coming in from being outside in the winter and jumping on to play like NBA Jam, and then using Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. And just everyone's like, "That's not fair." And it's like, well, sorry.
I don't want to be a liar.
Using any other tight end is like using like BJ Armstrong and Tony Kukoc.
See, if you guys want to
don't crap on the Kukoc.
You want to play Pong. That was what I came inside for. That was the video game for me, people. Stop being so young. Stop shaming my age.
Yeah, I mean, Kelsey's been awesome. I mean, combine the tight end 5 and tight end 6, like their scoring, and that's pretty much what you get with Travis Kelce. Like tight end 5 is Hawkinson, tight end 6 is somehow Taysom Hill. Combine them, and you're pretty much a point off of what Kelce has done. That's how much he laps every other tight end in PPR scoring. So, I mean, Kelsey's just that dude. I mean, there's not really much else to say. that hasn't already been said about him. And I'm going to stick with the wide receiver group. So we have our Cooper Kupps, or Justin Jeffersons, or Jamar Chases. Stephon Diggs, I'm going to make a case for. I honestly think the MVP is probably Jalen Hurts, just where he's going to be at the end of the season. But I'm going to make a compelling case, I believe, for Stephon Diggs. Through 6 games last year, this wide receiver had 152.8 fantasy points, 25 points per game, 68 targets, 43 receptions, 653 yards, 7 touchdowns. That was Cooper Kupp. Stephon Diggs is right there with Cooper Kupp's pace last year. The fact that, I mean, him and Josh Allen are just is printing money at this point. I just believe that Stephon Diggs is he's him and Cooper Kupp and even Tyreek Hill. These guys are like lapping the competition as well. Stephon, what they're going to do to Green Bay, like I'm going to have to go into the fetal position in my basement. It's going to be just downright despicable, but yeah, just the Stephon Diggs going as like wide receiver 5. You could get him with, like a Saquon Barkley type, or even like an Austin Eckler type. Like that might be the league winning formula right there in a lot of leagues, is getting pretty much your RB1 and RB2 and your wide receiver 1. So relative to the rest of the guys that were being drafted ahead of him, I mean, Stephon Diggs just seems like a big, just a clear exclamation point at the wide receiver position.
I don't know why you had to preface that by saying, like, I'm going to try and make a case for this guy. He's the number 1 wide receiver in half PPR, and he's already had his bye week. Like, he's played 1 less game than everybody, and he's amazing. You know what I mean? Case closed, right? Like, he's awesome. And you start him every single week, and it's good.
Well, and that's the thing with Stephon Diggs, too, is that where a lot of other wide receivers get kind of phased out due to game script, Buffalo don't play that game. Like we saw it against Tennessee. Like they will pass. They don't care how much they run the score up on you. And that is so valuable to a player like Diggs, especially, and even Gabe Davis. They don't care. If they're winning, they want to win and they want to make a statement. I think Buffalo has been kind of shat upon for so many years that they're tired of it. And Diggs is going to benefit from that. So yeah, Howard, what do you think?
I like Josh Hudson's statement right there, talking about Allen Diggs being, this year's, over Mahomes, Kelsey. Yeah, like you said it right there, Britt. They'll run up the score. They don't care. It doesn't matter to them. They're just going to keep throwing. I mean, it's so funny too, right? You see Josh Allen, they're up by 3 scores, and Josh Allen's running for a first down and diving as if this was, his, like it was like the Super Bowl that he was playing in, and the game was well in hand. So, yeah, from a fantasy standpoint, it's like if you had Cooper Kupp last year, I mean, that was a huge winner for you. Stephon Diggs putting up comparable stats, knowing that it's not going to stop. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Beautiful.
100%. So on the flip side, Britt, your biggest fantasy disappointment, and we both share the same sentiment. So I'm sure we're going to hit on a lot of the talking points. So I'm going to give you the unenviable task of speaking for me on this pass catcher.
Yeah, this just hurts my soul so much because the talent is sky high. I wrote about it in the Hot Takes article this week over at Fantasy Alarm that Kyle Pitts is he is droppable because Arthur Smith flat out refuses to pass the ball. He's like the Lamborghini meme under the lean-to with the trailer next to him. That is what Kyle Pitts is in this Arthur Smith offense. Like, yeah, everyone wants to tout his target share, but 0 times 0 is still 0. I mean, he is not getting the usage that we thought. We thought that Atlanta would be forced into negative game scripts, which they have been. But rather than pass the ball when they are in those negative game scripts, Arthur Smith just continues to use a hodgepodge of 5th round and undrafted running back. So it's just inexplicable, super disappointing. And we all took Kyle Pitts very, very high. And if you're like me, you took Kyle Pitts in a lot of your leagues because you did bet on the talent. And it has let you down through numerous leagues, and it just sucks. You thought that you were getting the tight end, like the end of that top tight end tier, before it dropped off. And I mean, you might as well stream at this point.
Britt, one caveat here I have to say is that you said that he's not getting the usage that we thought, but he kind of is. Like, he's playing more than half his snaps at wide receiver. He's got the second highest target share of any tight end. Like, the usage is there.
And again, I said 0 times 0 is still 0.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, he had this week a 38% target share, which of the 13 targets that were available, he had 5. So he's for the minimal amount of time he's out there doing what we thought he would do, which is play wide receiver and run around. But yikes, dude, this team, I mean, is it self-sabotage, Kev? What's going on? What is Arthur Smith doing, Kev? Tell me.
He don't give an F about nothing. That is what he's doing. It's the offensive environment is so bad. Like, he might as well be coaching the Decatur Staleys at this point. Like, if anybody gets that, it's probably Howard. And I don't even know if he'll get that. It is like 1920s black and white leather helmet football at this point. It is so bad. I mean, the fact that you spent 2 top 8 picks on Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and then you'd want to run your 5th round, Tyler Algiers, your Avery Williams, your converted cornerback Avery Williams, and run out Caleb Huntley and hide Marcus Mariota. Basically, what you're doing is hiding Marcus Mariota. Like, if you don't trust him to pass the ball in a negative game script, like, you have issues. Like, and it's not as though you're like 5-1 right now. You're 3-4. Like, something's got to give, and it's not going to be the players. It's going to happen. It's going to be the coach, and they're not going to fire the coach.
Marcus Mariota has attempted 151 passes this season. Joe Flacco has attempted 155, and he got benched 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, dude. Like, insane.
It's crazy that they don't even remotely throw it. I don't, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, unless they're just quietly tanking for Stroud in that sense, because they realize that Desmond Ridder probably sucks at football. So they're not looking. I think they're already looking ahead to that. There's zero explanation, like you just said, to be down that big in a game and to continue just run Tyler Algier over and over. I mean, it was just listen. And I have Algier in a couple of leagues. I'm like, don't run.
It's not even efficient running. Like,
no,
they're not. It's not.
It's gross.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad. And
let's move on. I don't want to think about it anymore. Howard, who's let you down?
I'm sick.
Right. Kyle Pitts has let me down.
Right. All of us.
Is he ever?
I'm gonna throw it to Najee Harris, because here's a guy who was being taken in the first round, and I know that as we got closer to the start of the season, people were starting to get a little unnerved. There was that talk of the Liz Frank sprain, and the offensive line didn't get improved all that much, and Mitch Trubisky sucks at football. Yeah, everything that you could possibly pile on there. And so, but Najee stayed in the first round. And what we're seeing right now is just, I mean, nothing is there. Nothing is there. And at least last year he had that value because of all the checkdowns to him, and he was catching all those passes. And that was, helping him a bunch. Now this move to Kenny Pickett, he's not about throwing checkdowns to Najee Harris. And Najee Harris isn't even being an effective runner at this point. So, to bust your first round pick, because that's the thing also, he's your first round pick and he's healthy. So you're like, well, I gotta start him, don't I? Not anymore.
Yeah, it's a correlation. We've seen it, and we've seen it mathematically prove that mobile quarterbacks, however mobile, don't dump it down. Like, you want Drew Brees back there, panicking and just flicking over to Alvin Kamara, right? You want Big Ben, literally statuesque, flipping it over. Kenny Pickett can scoot. We've seen it, and the sad part is that once every week, Najee Harris shows that flash of him being good, right? He does once a week, he'll scoot, he'll escape, and he'll break a tackle, and you're like, oh, there he is. And then you remember that this team sucks and the line's bad and the quarterback doesn't like to dump it down. So way she goes. And cherry on top is that he's not playing 90% of the snaps like he did last year. And the sad part is they told us that was going to happen. The RB coach said it, Najee said it, and I didn't want to believe it, but turns out it's true. So
When is coach speak ever true, though?
This one time.
One time.
This
Coach
one
speak is
time.
true.
Right.
Player
One
speak.
time.
We've been trained by Bruce Arians all these years to not believe a damn word he says. And then
Perhaps the
lo and
equation
behold,
is coach speak plus player speak equals possible truth. Because this time they both told us and it ended up being true.
Somebody good at mathematics, come up with a formula. I know there are a
Not
bunch of
me.
you Excel nerds out on Twitter. Let's make this happen.
That's right.
I was
dude.
told there would be no math.
We'll have Howard. We'll have Matt Sells break that down with the
Build a spreadsheet, Matt.
the Excel sheet wizard, dude. Yeah. If anybody out there, if you shout out Matt Sells, dude, the 3 out of 4 time back-to-back NASCAR Raider of the Year. He showed me his Excel for his NASCAR one time, and I thought I was looking into the Matrix, dude. I thought I had taken the red pill, bro. I didn't even know that you could have that many tabs, dude. They were labeled. He got past ABC. It was it was like zetas and like this spreadsheet for NASCAR is like no, that he is undoubtedly the best NASCAR guy there's ever been, and he crushes football too, obviously. So shout out Matt Sells.
Has to see his spreadsheet for his home keeper baseball league. It's like a dynasty baseball league that it is just the spreadsheet. He showed it to me. I still might have nightmares about it. I'm not gonna lie. There's just numbers everywhere.
Moneyball 2. Matthew sells his spreadsheet.
Yeah, pretty much. Coop, what about you?
So mine comes with a little bit of a little hope at the end, right? And it's a guy that we all, or a lot of us hold dear to our heart, DJ Moore, a player who we were hoping would be potentially, a guy more like a Mike Evans, where you could count on him for over 1,000 yards every year. He's had 1,100 yards every year. And, that he would get an uptick in touchdowns, potentially with a quarterback improvement, because, you play with Sam Darnold, all that. We should have listened to John Impemba and his vehement hatred for Baker Mayfield. Turns out he was right. So because DJ Moore has been brutal this year and unstartable at times. And the thing is, now he's done the worst thing you could do, which is give us a little bit of hope. PJ Walker seems to like him, had a good game this week, but now the question is, do you start him? Because if you go out and start him this week and he kills you, then he's done the worst thing possible, which is you started him when he was bad, you benched him, then he finally did something, and then he tricked you once again, which in fantasy football, it doesn't get much worse. So I don't know if you believe the PJ Walker narrative here with DJ Moore, or if you've given up, but for me, DJ Moore has put me in some pretty bad spots in fantasy football this year.
Yep. In my high money league, I drafted him, and I'm projected highest like every single week, because for some reason, the people who do the projections just haven't caught on to the trend that he is not what we thought. They're holding on to hope as well. And he's burned me a lot. This week I was forced to start him because Justin Jefferson and Singletary were on bye. So I had to start him in a flex. It worked out. If I think it's going to work out going forward, not really. I don't know. But we're just going to have to wait and see. But I don't feel confident about it.
I think I debated Kevin. We did one of those player debates, and I think it was DJ Moore. And I mean, everybody kind of warned me too. They were like, dude, you're going up against like the heavyweight champ of DJ Moore stands right now. So just tread lightly. So I think I treaded lightly. I mean, I think my whole argument was basically that Baker Mayfield sucks at football. And that's just gonna, for a guy like DJ Moore, who, for what he's done for his numbers, over 1,100 yards, but 4 touchdowns, and then 3 years in a row to have that, and now all of a sudden to get a downgrade at QB, like you couldn't believe that he was getting a downgrade at QB.
Like, how is that even possible?
I mean, I love the player. I just didn't like where he was being drafted. I thought he was just being drafted too high for what they have. But I agree that you could try and jump on this PJ Walker narrative and just say that, the Panthers, because also what you're dealing with is the loss of McCaffrey frees up so many more touches for everybody around the offense. And hopefully it does turn to that, because I mean, listen, I do not want to see Deonta Foreman and Chuba Hubbard running the ball like, all the time for this team. That would just be a nightmare. I'd rather. I'd rather.
Now, I'll throw the caveat out right now. If there's ever a time to start DJ Moore, AJ Terrell has a hamstring injury. I know Jalen Hawkins, the safety's banged up. Like, if you're not going to start DJ Moore this week against the Falcons, then you need to either trade or drop the guy, because now's the time. But I mean, just be ready. As Michael Scott said, be ready to be hurt again.
Yeah. How would you like to be the guy that, out of all your best ball, the top 2 exposures were DJ Moore and Kyle Pitts? How would you like to be that guy? Because that guy is the person that's currently talking right now. That's me. Hi, I'm Kevin. Like long walks on the beach and hurting myself in fantasy football. So yeah, DJ Moore, I mean, he's been just so consistent with terrible quarterbacking. And then we didn't think it would get worse. It did. But there was light at the end of the tunnel. He had his first top 10 finish in PPR this year. He has not been a top 24 producer in the first 6 weeks of the season. We finally got it with XFL standout PJ Walker. So with Christian McCaffrey, like the fact that you've got all these basically replacement players right now, and Shai Smith and Tommy Tremble and Terrace Marshall, and I don't even care to know who else, Steven Sullivan, whatever. The fact you got you have to target DJ Moore. You have to hyper target him. And it's going to be the point where he's going to basically be like I can't even say a better version of Deontay Johnson, because Deontay Johnson all season has been just an inefficient based on his quarterback. Like, he's been getting 12 targets, but he only brings in like 5 of them. That's pretty much, you're hoping DJ Moore has that and then just breaks one. Like, that is your hope for Carolina, is just death by 1,000 cuts and hope he breaks one.
Another Taylor Swift reference. Love it, Kev.
I didn't even plan on that. I have only gotten through like the first 4 songs of the new album.
How many Taylor Swift references do you plan?
As many as humanly possible.
I didn't see many on the show sheet.
Are we mocking the national treasure that is Taylor Swift? This new album slaps. It's got a couple of skips on it, sure, but overall,
no, Bender, no skips whatsoever.
Yeah, there might be a skip or 2.
Listen to it more, then you won't skip them. The more you listen to it, the more it grows.
Do you honestly think I'm sitting at home listening to Taylor Swift?
100%.
My wife and I aren't breaking up. I got
You heard from our local Taylor Swift expert. The trick to not skipping songs is to not skip them. It's as simple as that, Howard.
I love that you said, Howard, that that you're in a happy marriage and not broken up, because Sellers comes home last night and says, is the reason that you like Taylor Swift because you're unhappy with me and you feel like you need to listen to sad breakup songs? I've been dying ever since. That was definitely a side note, but I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Howard, I know you're not a Taylor Swift expert. You are a fish expert. And I know you're also a tight end aficionado and expert as well. We have a question in the chat. Lax Bands. Where do you think Isaiah Likely slots into weekly tight end rankings if Andrew can't go? And this is a question that honestly people are going to have to deal with because the game is tomorrow. So if he's not playing tomorrow, where do we draw the line of pick this guy up and start him?
I feel like there obviously aren't that many tight ends really worth starting at this point anyway. So, I think that if you're sitting there, if Mark Andrews is ruled out, I would say that if you didn't have, Kelsey's on a bye, so we can't even deal with that.
Can't go there.
Can't even go there. So I guess I would probably say
rough,
Goddard, Kittle.
Yep.
Guys like that are guys who I would still start over Isaiah Likely. He's probably at like the middle to the back end of the top 10 in tight ends, or would be,
right?
Just knowing what the Ravens offense is and matching up against Tampa Bay. So I would use him, but then again, I'm also I'm all in on Harrison Bryant this week too.
Right.
So
of course, yeah. Well, let me throw you one at you, Howard, because I think this is what it's going to boil down to for a lot of people. There's people that pay attention and there's people that don't. And the people that are paying attention with these decisions, like say you were sitting there with Mark Andrews and tomorrow comes up and you got to pick one. Cameron Brate's already been ruled out. Cade Otton has been pretty good with no Cameron Brate. If you're picking one guy in this game, are you going to go Cade Otton or are you going to go Isaiah Likely?
If Andrews is out, I'm definitely
if Andrews is out,
I'm going Likely over Cotton.
I love it. I love it, man. I'm in the big thing for me is that if you look at the numbers for Likely, he's played like 86% of his snaps at wide receiver. He never pass blocks. He basically is Mark Andrews, except his understudy, right? So, if Andrews is out, I'm in. I'm with you. Go big. You know what I mean? In this environment, in this economy, Kev?
In this economy?
The position's ridiculous right now. I mean, I've been telling people over and over again, they're like sitting here trying to rotate. They're trying to chase tight ends. What I did in 2017 with chasing tight, you can't do that now. There's just, it's not available to you. These guys are all just pieces of garbage. I'm a Greg Dulcich. Okay, sure. Why not Greg Dulcich? Just
tread lightly.
Yeah, this is a no Greg Dulcich slander show.
Yeah,
I'm not slandering the guy. I'm just saying the guy's no
the Dulcich hour comes up.
No, but Howard's right. Howard's right though. Dude, like we've been doing this for a long time, man. I've been playing since 2000. The number of times that a rookie tight end has come off the bench to be relevant is damn near close to zero. Like there's been maybe two that have started as rookies. It's like Ingram, Pitts, maybe Jeremy Shockey. Like there are no rookie tight ends don't usually do anything, and they never come off the bench. Like the fact that Dulcich is even in the question is such a weird situation, man. Like,
has one ever come in with that kind of hair though?
See, now is where you're getting into the real the nitty gritty.
Yes! Oh my God! Look at that hair! Oh my God! Oh my God! It's so beautiful. Thank you.
Doesn't hold a candle to what Mac Hollins has on his head. I'll tell you that.
Mac Hollins is a certified weirdo. Like he walked into like Good Morning Football with no shoes on.
Wow, Mac Hollins' hair is glorious, dude.
He looks like Sideshow Bob.
He looks like he's like the lost member of Kiss.
You know whose hair scares me
Howard is just salty about Mac Hollins because I picked him up the week that Hollins went off for 30 points when we played against each other.
And then you said he was the top target for the Raiders in your hot takes, didn't you?
Not the top, but over Renfro. I said he was top 3.
Take a look at Richie James's hair. It looks like his head is a human. It's like a spider. That hair, when I see it, I'm just like, no. In what world do you wake up and you look at it and you're like, that's it. That's me.
What's up with Robbie Anderson that he's not like doing duets with the Island Boys?
That's true. That's true.
I mean, look at the hair's ridiculous. We got to come up with it's like the all hair team: Mac Hollins, Richie James, Robbie Anderson. Those are our wide receivers. Dulcich is our tight end.
That's the squad, dude. You could get Kamara on there. I mean, from time to time, Zeke too gets after it. Yeah.
Zeke when he lets it go like real puffed up top.
Yeah, he looks like the Chiquita banana lady.
If you could get Tim all timer, it would be Tim Tebow when they made him do the Friar Tuck haircut. Remember that? That's the best, dude. That's the best hazing ever, dude.
I mean, I guess you got to go. Trevor Lawrence is your quarterback right now. I mean, I'd like to brush that hair. It looks
dude.
great.
Oh my God,
Justin Herbert's hair, rest in peace, dude. Like he hacked
that thing off. By the way, I just had an epiphany. The Falcons offense right now is like if Team Tebow played football today.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Afraid to throw.
Yep.
All right, so are we gonna hit some of these other topics, or we're just completely off the reservation at this point? I thought we were we're not even halfway through the topics we planned.
We are so far off the.
It's all here now. It's all hair team now.
Yeah, we've got our cheap carton cigarettes, and we're on the highway back home. So one player situation we're excited about week 8. We can hit these pretty quick.
Yeah, let's hit these without weighing in. Other people weighing in unless they have something crazy to say.
Well, let's hit them all, and then if we want to talk a little more, we can.
Okay. Yeah.
Howard.
Oh, I'll go first. All right. Show me Tua against Detroit this week. I mean, I turned the watch list into a drinking game. Every time I say smash spot, you got to do a shot. But you just read the Miami players, because what's going on right now, I mean, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle against this defense is going to be insanity. Mike Gesicki, you look at all of a sudden, guess who grasps the offense now? Guess who understands his role a little bit better? The last 2 games with Mike Gesicki, rock solid. Give me all the Raheem Mostert that you can give me, but the central piece right there is Tua and what he's going to be able to do and set up, in the pocket or roll out. I mean, what he's got right now, weaponry against one of the worst defenses in the world. Like that, I am 100% here. And it hurts me as a Jets fan to say it, but I'm 100% here for the Miami offense in week 8. And give me all the Tua you can give me.
So I got to say, I'm going to go to mine real quick, but you guys, I said I like Tua this offseason because of the weapons, and you and Jim hurt my feelings. I don't need an apology or anything, because it was right around the time where Tua threw probably the worst pass I've ever seen in the offseason. So you guys were right to laugh. But hey, you give the guy those kind of weapons in a matchup like this, we're all on board.
I turned around on him late in the preseason. I definitely turned around on Tua, and yeah,
you were when the flood was coming and the last few animals were getting on the ark. I saw you on there, Howard. I saw you on there, brother.
Enough
you made
about
it, dude.
Evo.
You're in front of the mites and the ticks. I'll say, hey, same game for me. I want to see DeAndre Swift back. I hope he's fully healthy. He's super fun to watch. The season moves so quick, you forget the first 2 games. DeAndre Swift was amazing the first 2 games. He had like 170 yards the first game. Second game, classic catching. He caught a touchdown pass. Dude did the whole thing. So I hope he comes back. I hope he's awesome. It's a lot more fun when there's good running backs that are catching the ball.
Yeah,
Right.
and along that same vein, I'm super excited to see Christian McCaffrey with a full snap share with these 49ers. We only saw him play at 28% snap share, and he still put up over 8 points. Like, he was still just absolutely crushing. And now he gets the Rams, who have been bottom of the barrel in every defensive metric. I mean, this is going to be absolute insanity. I don't care that they want to talk about like rotating the backfield. No, if you have Christian McCaffrey, you're not rotating the backfield. Plus, Debo has a hamstring injury, so he's not going to be as much of a factor. I think the game script is going to be heavily in San Francisco's favor, and McCaffrey is going to eat. Cannot wait.
Well, we're going to talk about a running back here that also has a seat at the table. It's Tony Pollard. So Zeke Elliott, Clarence Hill of the Star Telegram did say that Zeke Elliott likely sidelined with a torn MCL. Now, whether that's a moderate, sprain, which is technically a tear, that's one thing, but it's unlikely that he's going to be playing, at least from what we've gotten right now. So if that's the case, the reason you've held on to Tony Pollard outside of the four basically top 30 finishes at running back is for reasons now. With Zeke Elliott is out, Tony Pollard is one of the best contingent running back plays in fantasy. So they do go up against the Chicago Bears. Not very much scared of them. Tony Pollard is going to be getting even 75 to 80% of the workload that Zeke Elliott was getting. Tony Pollard with his 5.6 yards per carry, I think he can put up 90 to 100 yards, and then some stuff on the receiving end of the game. Maybe throws in a touchdown. You're looking at a top 6-7 running back on the week. So Tony Pollard season might be here, folks.
Can I put a quick caveat out there for anybody in all your fantasy leagues? So look around at all your leagues. If Kenneth Walker wasn't available when the injury happened, if Michael Carter wasn't available now, even though things changed, if Tony Pollard wasn't there, if Alexander Madison isn't rostered right now, stop saving all your fabs. Stop saving the number 1 draft pick, because in leagues like that, it's too deep. You're never going to get the big one. You know what I mean? So now's the time to take a look around and see, did you have a shot to get Kenneth Walker? Did you have a shot to get Dameon Pierce? If you never even had a shot and those guys were drafted from the start, just use your waiver priority or early. You were saving it for no reason, because it's not going to happen. But if those guys are available, then you might want to save the $100, even maybe trade for a couple extra fab, because then you can really take advantage. So take a moment to look at that for next year, because I do it all the time where I sit on fab for so long and I look around and I'm like, why am I saving my fab in the Scott Fish Bowl? Nobody ever shows up that's like amazing. Like I should be jumping on guys right away.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, for the love of God, I spent a quarter of my fab on Marquise Goodwin this week.
That's what I'm saying.
I did dirty stuff
Hey,
like that. Too.
Kings Classic, you have to 14 teams.
But I look back at the guys that went week 1 and 2, and I'm like, God damn it! I should have just used my money. What am I saving it for? Like all these guys are owned in some of these leagues, so just keep an eye. Look around the room and see if those guys are being available or not. If they were never available to you, spend like crazy next year. Go wild. Treat yourself.
Or you just have to be smart and do it a week before everybody else is on them.
Well, if you're on fantasyalarm.com, then that's easy. But for everybody else, you're going to have to figure it out.
Yep, for sure. Let's do the same thing we did with just running through these real quick. The player situations that we're nervous about. Britt, I'll start with you.
I'm really nervous about Sam Ehlinger. Like, I know that Matt Ryan has been garbage. I know that the Colts offense as a whole has been garbage, but Michael Pittman has still ended up putting up points, even with a garbage offense. I'm worried what Ehlinger does to that offense and those little pieces who have actually produced. I don't know if he's the answer or if they're just completely tanking to get like a Bryce Young or a CJ Stroud. In my opinion, I think they're throwing in the towel, and then it's going to be an absolute disaster.
All 3 wide receivers played like every snap too last week, so it's literally just a full-on dice roll.
Yeah,
he does have some rushing ability, Ehlinger. So I'd like to see what they look like without stuck in the mud Matt Ryan there. But
yeah,
I'll go. I fear for Kenny Pickett's safety this week. I really do.
Yeah.
Right, the Eagles defense looks ridiculous right now, and now they just added Robert Quinn. Right, they've already got 17 sacks on the season. I mean, quarterbacks. I think quarterback passer rating is somewhere in like the 65 to 70% range for quarterbacks going up against this Eagles defense. I fear for Kenny Pickett's safety. I really do. Those tiny little baby hands.
And they're somehow getting better. The defense got better today, dude. And here are the quarterbacks that the Eagles play. The Eagles are through their bye week. I might just trade. I have in so many leagues. I might just trade for the Eagles in every league, so I don't have to think about it anymore. Just to give myself the peace of mind not to think about it. These are the quarterbacks the Eagles play from here on out. Ready? Kenny Pickett, Davis Mills, Taylor Heineke, Sam Ehlinger, Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Tannehill, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Dak Prescott, Jameis Winston, Daniel Jones again.
Andy Dalton, no Jameis Winston. He's not facing Winston. Winston got benched.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like, dude, tissue paper, bro. All the way down.
By then.
Good.
I hate it. God. I absolutely hate it.
Yeah. I'll give you guys mine real quick. I'm concerned in general that this Thursday game is going to once again be a bad product. You know, it's hard to feel bad for Amazon Prime because Amazon, you know, is the capitalist pig that rules the entire world. But brutally short week for the Ravens, especially. Like I traded in the 15, one of the toughest leagues I'm in is one I'm in with Howard with a 15 team dynasty Sirius XM. I traded everything I had for Lamar Jackson. He's got no weapons. Mark Andrews is hurt. Rashad Bateman's got the foot injury. He's gonna be throwing to what? Like Demarcus Robinson and Devin Duvernay. Patrick Ricard played 92% of the snaps last week. Like this team is just like a complete, they got nothing going on, man. Like it happens when you do that. So, and it's just the worst possible time for them and the Bucks, who are just a mess, to have a short week. So I don't know. I fear this game is going to be pretty scraggly.
Yeah. And I'll stick right in that game on the other side. Tom Brady, I'm a bit worried. I want him to get back on track. Like the best game that he had was when Chris Godwin came back. Mike Evans came off of suspension against Kansas City. And then after that, I mean, he had a pretty good game, but he's only thrown for more than one touchdown once. And it was in that game against Kansas City. I don't know. Is the divorce getting a little tough on old Tom Brady? Like it's tough out there in these streets. Like Tom Brady, I mean, before this season, there was only one quarterback who threw a pass at age 45. And I'm pretty sure that was like Steve DeBerg or something like that, or George Blanda, one of them that played until they were like 97 years old. But
When Pepsi was a nickel.
Blanda was also Blanda would throw a touchdown pass and he'd go out there and kick the extra point. That's how long ago that was, dude.
And then he'd back out and
smoking his cigarettes on the sideline, like
it's a lucky strike.
Right.
But I'm very concerned about the Buccaneers. I mean, just needing they've got the pass volume. It's just been pretty inefficient, and the fact that the Carolina Panthers game has to be a wake up call for them. You got to figure. So, I mean, I'd say it's a pretty good get right against the Ravens, who have not been able to do anything against the pass. So. We might be getting maybe an offensive explosion. I mean, Lamar Jackson hasn't even been that great this season anyway, at least in the last four or five games. So fingers crossed. But about the Ellinger, I will circle back to that real quick. I mean, the fact that the Colts did this, I mean, it's not like they were really losing. I mean, they've had some bad games, but they're still 3-3-1. If they were 1-6, that's certainly worth the talking point. But they must really believe in Ellinger. The fact that they're 3-3-1 and still in this not so great division. So I'm very, I want to say bullish, but I'm optimistic that he can at least provide the Colts with a more modern take on the quarterback position.
I hope so. I hope so for Michael Pittman's sake.
And big ups to Matt Ryan for handling that about as professional as you can do that as well. He's always been a guy that's never been a me first guy. So for him to, we hear all about the Brett Favre's not wanting to take Aaron Rodgers under his wing and the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. Maybe it's a Green Bay thing. Who knows about not really wanting to be there for Jordan Love, but it's good to see a guy like Matt Ryan, I'm going to help Ellinger out, as much as he needs it. So it's great to see. You're muted, Coop.
I was doing my best mime impression. I was doing my best Nelson Aguilar, trying to be as quiet as possible on the field. Yeah, there Howard's got Howard's. It's Halloween. Me and Howard both being mimes for Halloween. Yeah. But anyway, what I was saying is that Frank Reich came out and said that they went to Matt Ryan. They said, we're going to get you a running game. We're going to get you an O-line. And then this week he said, hey, we didn't deliver that to him. We had to go with somebody more mobile. That's how they sold him on it. Is what it is.
Yeah. And then we'll just wrap this up real quick. One question that we want answered about our player situation in week 8. Since Britt and Howard went, Coop, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll say a question that Bill Belichick today refused to answer, which is what is going on with the Patriots quarterbacks. I would love for it just to be Mac Jones the rest of the year, sorted out in the offseason. But did you guys see Belichick in the press conference today?
Did not miss them.
He pulled another we're on to Cincinnati, where he answered every question they asked. He said, we'll have to see how it looks today. So they were like, well, what do you think about this? He goes, we'll have to see how it looks today. I wish somebody asked him. I wish they were like, hey, Bill, how do you think things are going to look today? Just so he would answer back. We'll have to see how it looks today. But I think he did about 5 or 6 in a row where he said, we'll have to see how it looks today. So he's not giving anybody answers. I obviously need them. I want them. So does John and Pemba. We're big Patriots fans. I don't even care who it is. Just pick somebody and make them the quarterback for the rest of the year. That's what I want. No more messing around. It's too much, man. It's too much.
Yeah. Howard, what about you?
I mean, I'll bring it back to the Ellinger conversation. I do. One of the questions I have is can he revitalize this offense? If he is more mobile than Matt Ryan, can that help energize things? Can the wide receivers? Because I mean, listen, I have a lot of Michael Pittman. I've got a lot of Alec Pierce. I want to see if these guys are going to be worth something, or if I'm going to end up having to replace Pittman as a wideout. So, that's the big thing for me this weekend. So, I'm looking at it here and just, my take, so I can at least, just put it on tape and we have it, is that my hope is, and my expectation is that Ellinger does kind of just juice up this offense a little bit, just get it out of that staleness that it's at. I want to see him and Pittman connect and show that Pittman is that alpha male on that team. And then I look at, for DFS purposes, because it's moments like this when a backup QB comes in, you look to the player that he's thrown to the most, during practices and stuff like that, Michael Strawn is going to be a guy who I know he's just going to be sitting in my dartboard, because I think that the two of them have, practiced together plenty, that when Ellinger is rolling out and he's looking downfield, he knows where Strawn's going. He doesn't know where the other guys are going. He's not 100% there. So I think Strawn becomes a guy. I think Pierce stays a guy. I think Paris Campbell's the one who kind of loses out. He was bonding nicely with Matt Ryan, but no, not for Sam. So that's what I want to see this week.
Yeah, I mean they had Alec Pierce for the first time play every snap, so it could be the ushering out of Paris Campbell. Rest in peace to our generation's Curtis Samuel in his 2-game stretch of catching double digit targets. Hey, but you never know though. That's the thing with the new quarterback. You do never know. But you're right. The mobile QBs don't like to dump it down. And I mean, this guy ran the ball 554 times in college in 4 years, 33 rushing touchdowns. So that's no joke. That's for real. Like, so.
Sellers, we're not using him in DFS. Stop it.
Sellers will be, dude. Sellers will be. Sellers is the hot take DFS machine.
Is Strawn 3K though on DraftKings?
I'm sure Strawn is 3K. He's talking about Ellinger being 4K on DraftKings.
I'm gonna say let's do an Ellinger, Jelani Woods, Strawn stat.
So,
let's just make it as gross as possible.
Bring it back
Sellers
with Axe Milne, and we're good to go, right?
Disgusting, dude. Can't wait to see Sellers' victory lap, his $5 win with that team, dude.
That's gonna sadly be something like that wins like the Millie.
And he will around the house. That's what we love about him, dude. That's what we love about him.
100%.
He's not scared to go hot, dude. He goes all the way hot, man. He's only got one temperature.
Maybe I'll have to play Strawn. He'll be my next 3K punt wide receiver success story. I played Wandale Robinson, and then I hit the Tyquan Thornton nuts the other couple weeks ago. So
let's go.
Yeah, that was nice.
Britt, what are you scared about? Yeah.
Well, I'm not scared about it. I want to see a little bit more from Travis Etienne against a decent run defense. We saw last week that he's obviously able to handle a full workload, and he looks healthy and he looks good doing it. But aside from a few games, like Denver's run defense has been pretty decent in holding the running backs. Yes, I hope so, Sellers. I really hope so. For the audio listeners, he's winning $1 million this week. But I just really want to see
I'm winning $1 million.
what he'll be able to do against a tougher run defense when there's really no backing behind him aside from Jermichael Hasty. If he fumbles, how is his mentality going to be going back into that game? So I was sold on him going into the season, but I'm ready to see it.
yeah, as the guy that I got for like $19 in Kings Classic, I'm very excited to see Travis Etienne season fully unfold now that James Robinson has been excommunicated from the Jacksonville equation. I'm worried a little bit about Austin Eckler, not even Austin Eckler, just the fact that he's pretty much been carrying this Chargers offense. And now Mike Williams is going to be out roughly 4 weeks. Keenan Allen is just coming back. He was on a snap count last week, didn't play the entire second half. They're going to be running out the Michael Bandys and the DeAndre Carters of the world. So in the Jason Moores of the world, there's a 3K wide receiver for you, but and then not to mention the whole Herbert rib thing too. So Eckler has been just getting absolutely shelled with targets, and it's been great for fantasy. He's wide receiver or running back number 1 in fantasy right now in PPR. But I just wonder how long this can continue, because defenses are going to come up and they're going to need some plays out of these wide receivers. If Keenan Allen comes back this week and is Keenan Allen, or no, not this week, but is next week after the bye, hopefully we can get a fully 100% snap share of the Keenan Allen of old, because that's really going to help this offense moving forward. But Keenan Allen, I mean, he's on the wrong side of 30. It's going to be on the wrong side of 30. Losing Mike Williams just stinks. I'm just not really sold on that passing game with Herbert already banged up, and Gerald Everett's going to have to take on more of an expansive role in this offense. So just something for after the bye. Pretty concerned about that. But ride Austin Eckler as long as you got him. Ride that wave. And then, with the Patriots quarterback thing that Coop was talking about, you could have just edited the movie at Bailey Zappi's first drive there. That would have been good. Just end the movie there, throw up the Disney logo, and you got money. You're printing money.
Yeah, I gotta say, with Mike Williams, man, he's got to stop playing this game like a crash test dummy. I feel like every time he goes for the ball, he's like, I'm just going to jump off. It's like Jackass. He's like, I'm going to jump off this roof and catch the ball. And I don't, he's like, gets up. He's like, don't worry. My clavicle stopped the fall there. Like every year, this guy with it's something. I don't know, man. Some guys are injury prone, but this guy, when you watch him play, he has no fear, man. Mike Williams is a baller, but at a certain point, you have to worry about self-preservation.
Yeah, it's like the Simpson gag where Homer and Bart had pots and pans on their heads and they run into each other in the hallway.
Dude, you let a couple targets go, bro. You know what I mean? Like you can't catch every single one of them, dude. Just let a couple go over your head.
It's not turkey.
Go back to the huddle.
Family.
Yeah. So,
Seller, which defense you like better, Philly versus Pitt or New England versus Jets?
Buddy, Philly, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Robert
Can I give a parting gift here?
Absolutely.
I'm going to give you guys the Sellers special DK lineup for this week.
Let's go.
All right.
I can't wait.
Here it is. This is Sellers. Write this down.
How much salary are you leaving it on this one?
I'm leaving only $200 on the table.
Okay. I was gonna say there's like $5,000 left. It was a Sellers.
That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for all three.
Hit us, Howard.
No, you got to know how to fill in the blanks, right?
I'm writing this down. What did you got?
Sam Ellinger.
Okay.
My running backs. Well, all right. I'll give you like the whole stack here so that you can go. It's Ellinger with Strawn and Jelani Woods, as Britt said.
I stopped writing.
No. You're running it back. You're running it back with Terry McLaurin against this stack.
Okay. I like that.
Your running backs are Derrick Henry against Houston.
Oh God, yeah, that's gonna be
Tony Pollard against Chicago.
Oh, okay. I'm writing again.
Your next wide receiver is Tyreek Hill.
Oh well, you can't miss there.
No, your flex
against the Lions.
Your flex is going to be DeAndre Hopkins and his billion targets.
How much does Jelani Woods cost? $1?
He might give you salary back.
There you go. And throw down that Eagles D.
Oh, you get the Eagles D in?
See?
Wow.
Perfect.
Dude, so Terry McLaurin, I will say, he might be better with Taylor Heineke. No
Definitely
joke.
better with Taylor Heineke.
I went back and looked at the numbers, man.
YOLO.
Yeah. We've had a sample size, 17 games, 123 targets over the 17 games. And then this week he gets 8. Wheels up. This lineup's kind of sick, except Jelani Woods.
Man, if this hits, Sellers is going to run around the neighborhood naked. I have no doubt whatsoever. And I'm actually a little terrified because this sounds like a pretty decent one.
Yeah. How did you so wait, how much is Tony Pollard?
If you don't like Jelani Woods and you want to just go with the you can go Granson if you like Granson better.
Yeah.
Right? You can go either Hendershot or Ferguson from Dallas.
Ferg. No, it's Ferg, dog. We talked to Calvin Watkins this morning. He said it's Ferg. He says I thought it would be Hendo, but he said Jake Ferguson.
I don't off in the mirror and I said it's Hendo.
No, you might as well go Jelani Woods. I bet they've had Ellinger working with Jelani Woods in practice. I kind of like the Woods call, dude.
Or you go with the Houston guys. Does OJ Howard catch that touchdown pass because they have no other wide receivers available?
OJ Howard hasn't caught a touchdown.
Akins.
Jordan Akins was getting a lot last week.
No. You sold me on Jelani Woods. We're coming back to Jelani Woods. Lock him in.
How much is Pollard though? $5,000?
What's that?
He's got to be cheap.
Pollard's $6,100.
Wow, that's kind of expensive.
How are we getting Tyreek Hill and Henry in the same lineup? Those got to be top, most expensive players.
All right,
Ellinger's 4K.
Oh, okay. 4K. All right.
So right off the bat, there, Woods is $2,500. Now I can't find him in this thing to finalize.
I'm gonna play this cash lineup against Ion this week.
Wow, that's a lineup.
Henry's 84, Tyreek is 85, and Hopkins is 74. Those are your three most expensive pieces here.
And you get both the good chalk. You get Henry versus the Texans and Tyreek Hill versus the Lions.
And Pollard against Chicago.
That's why you're the guy, dude. Wow.
There you go, Sellers. You're my boy.
I need to return to the chalk. I got burned so badly on Josh Jacobs' chalk last week.
Jacobs bad chalk this week. And Pemba decided if you listen to the Fantasy Alarm podcast coming out tomorrow, and Pemba is very much in on Henry, very much out on Josh Jacobs for DFS. In redraft, you start him everywhere. But that's John and Pemba, good chalk, bad chalk. He's not liking that chalk on Jacobs this week.
Right. Well, yeah, because I played, I played Breece Hall. I played Damian Pierce. I played a little bit Eckler just to kind of get off of the Jacobs chalk and get different. And then Breece Hall he was in all like the good lineups. The worst. And then Jacobs runs for 3 touchdowns.
My good lineups had Amon-Ra St. Brown and DK Metcalf.
No.
Brutal. Brutal.
Oh.
Yeah. Tough.
Oh.
No. Hate to see it. All right. Well, Howard, I mean, we'll have to have you back. Maybe we'll have you on a third time this year if your schedule allows it.
I don't know. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to wait on Alan Lazard's condition and find out.
Yeah. If Alan Lazard scores 11 touchdowns like you predicted, we'll push back.
8 touchdowns, 1,100 yards.
If he scores 20 touchdowns, if he breaks Randy Moss's 23 touchdown record, we will push back Barack Obama. We'll have you on for a third time. We do have Obama on the schedule, but we will push him back for you, Howard. You are the boss around here and you're the best. So we'll do our best to get you back on.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming on.
Gosh.
Guys,
let's go.
Yeah. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. We can all feed our kids. My kids are eating ketchup packets, so we need all that money. We need to get up to that top ramen. We need to get into that kind of tax bracket. So please go ahead and do so if you haven't. Britt, Coop, anything else before we head out?
Just good luck, everybody, this week. It's
Use
been
promo
wild.
code alarm.
Yeah, everywhere.
That's why if you play, let's just say it this way: if you're going to sign up for a new fantasy football site, type in alarm. It's probably going to work. It's probably going to give you some sort of bonus. All right, we got.
I'll give you one better. All right, if you don't subscribe to Fantasy Alarm, go to fantasyalarm.com/bender. Use the promo code BENDER. It'll trigger a 7-day free trial.
What?
Okay? Right? So you can cancel it right afterwards if you want, or you ride with us and using the promo code BENDER gets that 50% off for the first 6 months of your subscription. So it's less than $20 a month for the next 6 months. But that also, you get that free trial. We give you that little taste in the beginning so you can take it for a spin and see what you think.
Howard Bender, Mr. Cool on the show. Happy Halloween to everybody out there. Free 7 days and 50% off. Dude, all the promo. Why don't I have promo code? Where is there a promo code, dude?
Promo code Lazard?
It's over on Reddit.
Dude, they get what.
Sorry, but it's behind the blocker. You're gonna have to dig to find it.
No, those dudes on Reddit get
that one.
They get what we give them, and they're gonna have to eat it. That's. We're doing our best over on Reddit. We're doing our best over there.
The Reddit scene. Coop, have a great honeymoon. Please don't come back with an accent. For the love of God,
I'm definitely wearing a turtleneck or something, right?
It'll be like this.
You sound like you're from London.
No question though.
Go have a drink with Murph and
yeah, I'm hitting Murph.
Are you
up
on
for
him?
Sure.
I
already talked to him. He was there. He was on the show. I haven't hit him up. When I would be in London for a little bit. So
do it.
That'll be fun, man. Yeah.
Don't wear that revolutionary get up. Please don't. We don't need to start World War.
I was thinking about bringing it wearing it in Iceland because I will be in Iceland for Halloween. They do celebrate it there, but I don't. I'm thinking about it. We'll see. But anybody out there, all my articles, I'm still writing them. I already talked to the boss, John and Pemba. We got it all set up, so we're not going to miss a beat on that. We're good to go.
100%. All right. Well, for Howard, for Britt, For Coop, I'm Kevin Tompkins. And Coop, since you won't be here for the next couple weeks,
Toodles.